I'm glad you're here. We have an hour, a little less, to explore core strategies. I just I had a 2-hour session at the IIT. I did 3 examples of it. Usually this is a very simple process. I mean, simple and deep, but it went to places and people that was like, oh, this takes some skills to navigate well and practice. And so I was lamenting that it wasn't the best demonstrations because I had to just really finesse it. I had to really work it. So know that happens. That's why this is a practice I'm sharing with you that I'm asking you to do within yourself. Journaling is a really good idea. Journal. And get really, work it. Unless you have real good skills, say, in the working with people with trauma and things like that, then I would ask that you practice more. Come to my classes more, come into the certification training, because there you really learn it more. And the people who are in there, such as Anne, you also find that it's a continuing learning. It's a lifelong learning. All right. So I'm setting it up because I want this to be done with care. I also, as we continue on, hi, Cindy, as we continue on, that for you to know you're in choice in anything we do in class today. If you want to step away and get a little more distance from anything, fine. If I'm asking you a question and you don't feel like answering it, thank you. Don't. Take care of yourself. That's the primary lesson of this work, to take care of yourself and know what is too much for your system. And learning to listen to that in others. When someone is overloaded, to be able to sense it. And the way you can learn to do that more is learn to do that within yourself. So again, I begin slowly. Stop me if you have any questions. If I can't answer it in that moment, I'm just going to do something like this, which would be just wait a minute, hold the question, because sometimes we're in delicate places in the process. Is that understood? I'm not doing this to push you away. I'm just saying, give it a moment here, which is a big part of the art of this work, is knowing when not to fill up the space with words. All right. So we're going to notice what we practice in our lives. These core strategies, what I call core strategies, are strategies, habits. Well, they're now habits. Originally, they were strategies we came up to work with precious needs like belonging or safety. And often it happens around earlier times in our lives. And it's even, a lot of it is pre-verbal. Wherever we go, is the intention is to be curious, caring, and really seeking that place of appreciation, that quality. I'm hoping if you've come to my sessions, you'll hear this question over and over and over and over and over again, is what do you care about? What matters to you in your relationships? So notice what you care about, really articulate it well so your whole system can know it. Head, heart, belly, all of you. And then we notice what we practice. And we notice if the practices we use and have accumulated and practiced over our lifetimes serve who we want to be now. And then we begin to shift them to be more in tune with who we are now. So that's hard to do, to change old practices. So we will address that. These are the 4 main questions. And if you really want to explore it, you know how you can take a screenshot of this one, so it's handy. This is kind of the overall practice we're going to do today. This is a map. All right. Core strategies. Everybody think about a moment in your life that's present even, or a difficult moment. And it doesn't have to be like a big moment. Just imagine a conversation or something that's up and alive, that's in a relationship or in yourself. That's really a challenge. That's a challenge for you, you know? Oh, I have this meeting with this person today, or God, I'm just angry because my son is not listening to me, and I really, or you know, something you're nervous about, something that is up. Think about it for a second. Imagine it's happening right now, and you're in the middle of that challenge. Okay? Use your imagination. And if if you struggle with, that's okay. If you can't come up with anything, that's okay. Just watch everybody else for now and explore it. When you do that, what goes on in your body? Scan your body. What do you notice? And where do you hold it? Where do you hold it? What in you tells you you're challenged or you're a little upset? Where is that in your body? The physical sensation. Point to it. Point to it. Okay. Colby, looks like you're pointing at your solar plexus, right? Yep. Cassidy, do you notice? Oh, so is that your heart area? Yeah. How about you, Elizabeth? What do you notice? Shoulders, shoulders. Anybody not locate a place? Marika, there. Okay. These are what I call core strategies. They show up. Remember, strategies, at least in this work that is deeply connected to nonviolent communication, the language I'm using when they speak to strategies, every strategy is in service of a precious need. Needs are words we use for life. So these are in service to life, and we've learned them, and then we practice them till they become embodied. That's how we learn. Now, the thing is, we practice it so long, to change those practices to new one is going to take, you got to know what you care about. And there's like a personal, solid direction to practice for the sake of becoming who you want to be. Is that clear? That's the central piece right there. To really, really know who you want to be and the direction you want to go is in relation to the strategies you are employing. Okay? At the bottom line, this is a practice for seeking, cultivating, fostering appreciation of the needs under these strategies. Because when you can connect to that, you can work with those places instead of against them. Most of the time they feel like, go away, I don't like this. Yeah. But if you can really find start with a tiny bit of appreciation. By the way, Anne, the tiny appreciation that comes usually, as you know, in the beginning is like, whoa, that was cool. Oh my gosh. And then each day finding new appreciation, something new in it, making it alive each time. And I'll show you, we'll do some stuff around that. All right. Who would like to work with me? Who has something that's up and they would preferably, yeah, I was going to say preferably blah, blah, blah. Who would like to work with me? Anka. Can I ask a question? Elizabeth, did you want to work with me too? And because I noticed you did this. This is what we could learn. This is what this is about. Elizabeth, I'll just kind of show you what it looked like. Is that okay? Elizabeth went like this.
Totally okay.
Went like this. And then a whole bunch of, I'm going to guess, like a whole bunch of strategies kicked in. Well, I should let other people go first, or maybe, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So these strategies kick in, and then they affect what we do and say. So that's an old strategy. I'm just saying. And the question is, does it serve you now? You know, would you have rather been working with me? So that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what this is about. These things that go on in our body, and then when that happens, stories and strategies and ways we have learned kick in. The idea is to make those conscious, so our choices. And by the way, you probably learned to do that, and it really served you.
Yes, yes, and I was noticing and kind of, oh, perhaps there's a moment that he would he would ask, is there anyone else? Kind of, because I noticed I was kind of struggling in myself, struggling, what am I going to do? But it's beautiful that that we can notice, you saw it with me, that we can notice that something's going on.
Yeah, and appreciate it and
Yeah.
hold it with care. As I listen to you, I go, oh, you learn to be considerate of others, or to let people go first, or to even just to watch for various reasons. But I know that those reasons are precious. How is that to hear?
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean what I say.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds so stupid in English, kind of great, kind of maybe, oh, but no, it's better would say it's precious to hear that
Yeah.
you recognizing, but me on the same time recognizing too, and in that way acknowledging and valuing what's going on.
Yeah, I really do. And this is a connection that's happening below the words. You know, I add the words, but underneath it, there's a whole self appreciation, and that's felt in that connection.
Yeah.
So that's the felt sense of what we're doing too. So back to you, Anka.
Hi, David.
And I'm going to keep it really simple. I want to see where we go and just really be mindful of time. So is it okay if we kind of move without we'll just move through it?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this to everybody. I'm teaching as I'm doing it. Okay. Is that okay, Anka?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. So, one, you recognize that you can stop and don't answer any question you're not comfortable answering. And what you're going to get is, from me, is thank you for taking care of yourself, because that is first. All right. And you always ask permission to do this. And I also want permission to interrupt for the sake of the work. Is that okay? Thank you.
Yes,
And
please.
again, for the sake of what I'm holding here with you. Here we go. All right. Anka, 4 questions I'm going to ask, and then a small appreciation process. 4 questions. The less talk, the
Mm-hmm.
better. Do you have a challenging moment you want to work with?
Yeah.
Okay, first question is, when you think about that, put yourself in that, where in your body do you notice it? Right, kind of like that's telling you it's challenging. Not, oh, because, no, just, oh, this tightens or this does something.
I have, I think, 3 areas that are reacting when I think of the situation.
So if on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say that's a 10, can you in one sentence, could you tell me what this is about? Just one.
A group of people that have done it, have been trainers in an event, and I am the new one in the second round of the event.
Got it. So let's say you're not in the middle of the event or talking to these people.
No, it's just about it's happening on Monday.
Imagine imagine the moment when you just put your attention there and it starts to come on in your body. Is there a first place it shows up, or is there a place where it's more, the center of it?
I was trying to do that this afternoon, and it's hard to see which one is first. It's my stomach and it's my solar plexus who are reacting.
Stomach.
My belly area is contracting, and
Okay.
my heart heartbeat is quickening. But it's more the solar plexus that is
Okay, so we'll go with the solar plexus and maybe the belly. The heart is just beating fast, right?
a pulse. You know, I have a pulse in my body,
Yeah,
and I
that,
feel it strongly in the solar plexus.
so is that where you want to go first?
Solar plexus pulse. Do I want to go to belly?
Belly. Okay,
Belly.
we'll see where it goes. For right now, let's say belly.
Mhm.
First question, where? And you can see we had to take some time to get there. This is the skill part and the creative part. If it's a whole bunch of places, if it's your whole body, it's an overload. That's too much. Can't work with it. So you learn to bring it down
Mm.
to when it just came on or just a little bit. Less is better in this whole process. Less is better. You know, we want to fix it all right now. Too much. Less is better. So belly. One is for answer the first question, where? Second question,
Can we change it to solar plexus, please?
let's go to solar plexus. So if you
Sorry.
put your attention, that's sure, this is you. So if you go to your solar plexus
Mm.
and you imagine that what's going on there, feel it. When was the best guess? Best guess. This is an empathic question. I don't, it's not, oh, we got to get the right answer and think about it. It's best answer. Well, when did you learn to do that? That strategy? Best guess. First thought. First thought.
Ay.
How old?
Two.
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 Thank you. You know, another question I could ask is how do you feel? How old do you feel when you sort of try that on or when you're in that?
It might be younger.
It might be. And
And I
we're,
think it's repetitive, and that's why I had several ages coming up.
all these things I call core strategies are like that. You know, you know, it's like, oh, this was like going to school for the first time and not being accepted. And then, whoa, that's where when I was born. Took me a while to get there. So, so 2 years old, second question. Third question. Now, you don't have to tell me anything. In fact, just for yourself, what was going on at 2 around you when you learned to do that? Again, best guess. Yeah, now, and everybody else, I noticed Anka doing this. This tells me she knows something came.
Mhm.
So, you know what happened, what was going on, right?
Yeah, it's
It
actually not
don't,
the first
I'm gonna,
time I've worked with this.
wonderful. And I want to just say to everybody, you know, I'm going like, because I'm teaching it as well. And this is a thing that, you know, often people start to talk about it, and that can be re-traumatizing.
Mm.
Anka knows what's going on. I don't even need to know. I might ask, you know, if it gets a little tougher as we continue, you know, just give me a sentence or so. Oh, my
Mm.
dad was doing this, and oh, okay, that's enough. That's enough. You know, less is better. And then because there's a want sometimes to want to talk about it. And when we get triggered, that is a very common strategy is to talk. We're doing something different here. So let's move to the fourth question.
Mm. I like that, David. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mm.
When holding something is really powerful. It's like it's cooking. Let it cook. Don't serve it yet. So when that was going on around you, and you learned to contract your solar plexus,
Yeah.
what was the need there?
Mm. The first one that comes is safety, and I
Mm,
think underneath that is probably inclusion.
thank you. So belonging and safety, very primary. But can I, for the sake of everybody listening, just to understand a little more of the process, I'm wondering if we go back to the third question, which was, what was going around you, and maybe just a half a sentence and no more, if you're willing and would be okay with that.
My parents were getting ready to move us, excluding my oldest sister, to Turkey.
Okay, so everybody got that. And it was for belonging.
Oh, look at that.
Go ahead.
I understand, not me, my sister. Okay. That's sweet.
And stay there for a minute. Mhm.
That's nice. My shoulders are, who are part of this play, are relaxing.
Nice. So for right now, just feel what
Yeah.
you feel. And I'm going to tell everybody for a moment, Anka. When those moments come up, give them space. Give them space. This is healing work. This is reconnection work to a precious place.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it was so the fourth question, what need was it in service of it? Well, belonging and connection.
Connection, yeah.
Connection and safety. And then you went, oh my gosh, it was for my sister. Huh. The thing about needs are they're not necessarily specific. I have a need for belonging.
Mm.
And that could be for sister, for me, for the world, for whatever. Needs are qualities. If they become specific to a need for my sister, that's more of a strategy. And it really is for everyone somehow. And maybe we'll get there in this. We'll see. I don't know. But so can we move on for a second, Anka?
Mm.
And it was solar plexus. Can I ask an empathic guess?
Please.
Yeah, something about, a protection of self. And it might be yourself. I mean, this solar plexus often, I just kind of go there. It's like heart's about meaning, belly is about intuition, head's about thinking, shoulders are about carrying the load, responsibility, back is about support, solar plexus. And I'm wondering if you were, really protecting in some way at that tender age, which is like 2, what do you do? That sense of safety and belonging that you love, and a sense of self, really caring for yourself in relation to your sister, maybe even. Wow, that's a lot to take in at 2 years old. I'm wondering how that lands on you. At 2 years old, how do you deal with that? Huh, that's too much for myself to carry. I'm going to protect it here. I'm wondering how that sits with you.
Yeah, I think I'm connecting to that shocked part of me, which is also afraid that a
Yeah.
family who abandons my sister might also abandon me.
Okay, so let's hold that. And we've asked the 4 questions. The last is very important as well. So take a moment, Anka, a 2-year-old who did that, who had the care and wherewithal to say, when we contract around something, it's to protect it. She protected your sense of self, yourself, all these years, and still is. When this comes up, it's her going, be careful, Anka, protect yourself here. in fact, I'm going to protect you.
Hmm.
So how would it be to turn to that 2-year-old and not judge her strategy because she was only 2? And then you practiced and practiced and practiced that strategy. But at 2, that was the best she could do. We're limited in in what we can do at that time. How would it be to turn to that 2-year-old you and not judge the strategy, just appreciate the intention under the strategy? Her intention was to protect you, your sense of self. And you still got a sense of yourself, don't you?
I still have?
A sense of yourself.
I do.
Something worked.
Hmm?
Something worked. But something worked.
Yeah.
How would it be to not like, oh, how can we do it better? No, just now, how would it be to turn to the 2-year-old and just say, thank you? I mean, if you can, if it's a real, honest, thank you.
It is. I'm very touched at the at the speed with which she developed, this young one in me developed
Yeah,
that protection,
brilliant.
just to take care of me because there was nobody else to take care of me.
So so when you do that, there's some tenderness maybe.
Yeah.
So that's for you all your work right now has brought you to that good work, Anka, to be able to just be there. I'm facilitating, but you're doing the work. And just to appreciate that. And
Yeah.
now I'm going to let you be with that for a moment, if you're okay with that. And
Yeah,
you're good.
I am. Thanks, David.
It's an honor. I appreciate it too. This is an intro, but you can see it's not really. We're going there. When you go to the body, you're right there. And that's why I'm asking to be very careful with this process. Less is more. So what do you do with this now that you have touched this beautiful place and it is now open and streaming? Right now, what you do is let it just, kind of bow to it and keep finding the appreciation. That tenderness is healing. That tenderness is healing. And so what do you do with that? That 2-year-old will come up again and again and again. Your history, you cannot lose it. Right now, that 2-year-old's been trying to get your attention to remember to take care of yourself all these years. And if you're like all of us, pretty much, it's like you're going, ow, that hurt, go away, go away. You know what it's like to want to help someone and they say, go away. It's really painful. So imagine that's been happening for years. That little part of you probably might need a lot of empathy, in other words, a lot of presence without judgment, and just finding appreciation when it comes up. It's like, oh, there you are again. And you're trying to protect me, who I am. When it comes up, go back to appreciate the intention. For now, though, to the active practice of it versus it'll come up. And the thing is, you can build a relationship to that part of you that's take it in a new direction, a healing one. Because when you connect, and appreciation is really the secret, finding new appreciation each moment, it begins to open. And what is it? It is opening your most precious gift to the world and yourself that was worth protecting. Thank that 2-year-old first. And then what you can do, and someone did this with me, it was really profound. And then I do it a lot. We have many core strategies, as you already noticed today. You got a whole group inside of you waiting to be listened to in this way. let's start with 1. And that 2-year-old, if you turn to her for a moment and use your imagination, and if you can't do that, then this is where you got to get a little creative. You can imagine a 2-year-old sitting there. You can just talk to your solar plexus. You can put your hand here.
Using Aisha's cat. She's inspiring me.
Oh, look at that. I like that. So focused on you right at the moment. But if you, Anka, if you turn to that place in your solar plexus right now, for example, and say, is there anything you need? What is that? Does that part, first thought, any thought come to you?
First words are sweet connection.
What's that?
Sweet connection.
Mhm. Is that what that part of you said?
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
It was not my head. It wouldn't do things like that.
Mm. So each day you can turn to that place and just, you could say, hey, I'm going for a walk. Do you want to come? And that part of you might say, no. And you say, that's okay. I just want you to know that I'm really, really listening to you as best I can now. And that's what I want to do. The next day, same thing or a different thing. And mostly for a good long time, just listen. And so for the next month, every day, check in. And don't give her advice. Don't tell her what she could do better. Just be present. This is your practice for how to be in relationship with others too. This is the beginning of it. And that's what you can do over time, Anne. That is a really powerful practice. And eventually, you start to work together with this part of yourself. This becomes a whole nother set of eyes to your own. And then you have more. That is so perfect.
It is.
I didn't do that intentionally. That was great. There you go. My gosh. Okay. Any question?
Oh, thank you, David.
Thank you. Oh, really, again,
Mm.
very much. Elizabeth, yes.
Thank you for the beautiful session and sharing the process. You noticed at a certain moment she was started talking about her sister with the belonging part, and you then said something like, "Oh, that's a strategy, kind of a strategy." And I was wondering what you meant by that, because you were going this beautiful path with the body and really listening what's stored there, where it's kind of been sleeping in time. But what did you mean by?
Yeah, thank you. That's a
Yeah.
pretty, I kind of stepped aside to give a little teaching moment. That wasn't an instruction to Anka, just a piece, which is this. Needs, as in the NVC languaging, like needs are languages, words that describe life. A need for understanding, need for safety, need for belonging. These are primary needs. We all need them. But let's say you and I were in an argument, Lisbeth, okay, for example. And if I said, I have a need for understanding, that's one thing. If I say I have a need for you to understand me,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that's a strategy.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying right there.
Yeah.
It was more of an internal way of speaking to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Okay, thank you. Anne, yes.
So how do you, if somebody's in physical pain, chronic pain, is it confusing sometimes to identify a core contraction, a core strategy contraction versus a contraction that might be from a structural, physical condition.
Yeah, that happens from time to time in this process for me. And again, it's just asking certain kinds of questions that you intuitively, go to. And sometimes they intersect,
Right.
sometimes, I was just at a training, one of the lead trainers was really carrying a lot of the weight of the specific things she was working on in the whole group around diversity and racism. And she didn't, for good reason, again, like I do in my realm, in what I do, there's things I'll protect. No, don't say that, or be careful over here because I'm right here with this person. I don't want to damage it. She did that too, and it was with the big group around specifics about racism. And so she was very protective and holding it all. And then her back went out. And she was, it was like it's, you have to, they connect sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just an accident. So, again, this is a thing with practice, Anne, where you can kind of feel where that is and how it intersects.
Okay.
I don't have a quick answer to that other than I've encountered it. And sometimes it is hard to pull apart. But then, you can even go back to the accident and what the body's doing and thank the body for however it's compensating.
Yeah.
And again, I really invite this as an internal practice. I'm guessing like Colby, as I was speaking, I keep the whole group watching. I watched the group and I was guessing maybe you were doing the whole process for yourself, right? And so this is something you can do in journal. I mean, it's nice if I'm here and I'm guiding it, but now you have a sense of it. You also have this recording, which is, I think, a pretty good basic. But you could, in this session, you could see, I think, the simplicity and depth of the practice. It's so fascinating because as you learn about these contractions and movements, you can begin to see them. And there's a whole realm of nonverbal communication you can tune to. That way, I'm wondering, Elizabeth, would you like a 5-minute session?
Well, just try it. I was kind of thinking, I don't feel an urge that it has to be, but if you say we can even do it 5 minutes, I'm curious.
Well, wherever we go is where we go. And then, if it opens something, then, it's something you'll fit with, but you know the process now.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you for doing this. Again, this is so you can do it yourself. I'm being the facilitator here. And you've just given me permission, which I appreciate. Always ask permission. It builds trust and it's important.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you think about what it is that's where you're challenged or that what's going on for you, first question is, where do you notice it in your body? Where's
Yeah,
it?
it's kind of tightening at my shoulders, kind of doing this.
So it's this.
It's
And-
this. Yes.
Yeah. This. Okay.
Yeah.
Second question. That's a strategy. You learn to do that at some point in your life. It began. It can be anytime. It could be in the womb, like I said, maybe even past lives. I don't know, but that's not really my realm. When you put yourself into this motion, this thing, when was the first time you learned to do that? Best guess.
Best guess 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Third question. What was going on for you at that time when you learned to do that? I'm just imagining into it. And your first thought. It's like a dream state almost.
Yeah. Not knowing what to do.
And can I ask a little bit more, like in a half sentence, like what was going on around you that you didn't know what to do?
So, yeah, my mother not being present, kind of sometimes spacing out, and for me just not knowing what to do.
Okay. Okay. That was the third question. So the fourth question is, what was this in service of? You know, this gesture, you know, what are you doing in this gesture?
It's kind of, yeah, holding on.
What are you holding on to? Again, best guess.
Best guess.
First thought.
Safety.
Okay. Yeah. And what were you safety? What were you protecting there? Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Can I make a guess?
Mm-hmm.
And these are empathic guesses. Over here, I don't know. I don't know. I'm listening to you and I'm just again moving the process. That heart. This is like protecting. Yeah. Maybe. And there's a whole bunch going on in the gesture, but I'm just going to guess piece of it may be that your heart, you were not sure if it was safe out there or being held. So maybe you protected it yourself.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And can it help to just, when you're asking someone to do it, to just hold this motion a bit stronger to get the feeling more, or is that not necessary?
Not necessary if you know. Sometimes I'll say, try this on.
Okay.
Right now, it was here
Yeah.
in heart. Seems to me we protect.
Yeah. It's thank you for asking, because because the shoulders are so tense. It's the feeling here, but if I'm really open, I'm kind of protecting, making it smaller.
Yeah, and not only that, you were carrying the weight.
Yeah.
yourself. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big
Right.
pressure here on my shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the responsibility of protecting yourself and taking care was on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You learned to carry it because you weren't sure it was going to be taken care of out there.
Yeah. And I notice when you're saying this, what my body reacts.
Yeah, and I'm noticing too, by the way, because I go, oh yes.
Yeah.
You know, those are things. If you're doing this with someone else, you can go, oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
We're there for a second. So
Yeah.
for right now, last piece, imagine that 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
She's still working for you for the sake of protecting your heart and making
Yeah.
sure that, you know, that of being responsible to yourself and
Yeah.
taking it really. And how would it be to turn to her and not judge her strategies because she was only 3?
Yeah.
Just, you know, I'm guessing you still have contact to your heart and you know about being responsible and those kind of things. So something worked. How would it be to turn to her and just say thank you? If
Yeah.
you feel that.
Yeah.
Not judge her, not judge her strategy, appreciate her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, just, you know, imagine inviting her for the next month to go with you, do whatever, you know, whatever you're doing at times and check in with her each day, ask her if she's got anything she want to tell you because you're listening. And if she doesn't want to do it, you say, that's okay. Just want you to know I'm here.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Sounds very good.
All right.
Yeah. Sounds also as integrating.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it feels it. I'm guessing you feel a little sense of tenderness.
Yeah, tenderness. And it's kind of like this little sun is kind of starting to open up.
Right. Well, that took 6 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, wow. Thank you.
Very welcome.